How do software engineers actually use AI? Do they prompt everything now? Do they just tab, tab, tab? Do they not use AI at all? Well, Wired staff surveyed 730 coders and developers about how and how often they use AI chatbots on the job. The results amazed and disturbed us. I wonder if they also include tab, tab, tab and just AI in general and not just chatbots, because that's a weird thing to specify right here. So code created AI. That much is obvious. Less obvious is the extent to which AI is now, in a snake eats tail way, creating code. We kept hearing conflicting accounts, because you'll hear on one side that people vibe code everything, so all code is being written by AI for those folks, and then the other people who don't write it at all, but then all of these people claiming that it's going to, it's already writing 90% of all code today, and then 100% within a year from now. This programmer used AI every day. That programmer wouldn't touch the stuff. I should probably just keep reading instead of giving my 2 cents. It's the same exact thing. This company paid for AI services. That company banned them. So which is it? This makes sense though. If you have sensitive data, safety in AI has yet to be hashed out in many regards. So you have to kind of be on the defensive so you don't break HIPAA laws or anything crazy like that, or your sensitive information doesn't get into the wrong hands without them paying you for it. So which is it? Are chatbots liberating human programmers or programming them right out of their jobs? How many times do we have to discuss this? It doesn't have to be all or nothing. To find out, we blasted a survey to every software engineer and developer in our orbit. 730 of them, from casual dabblers to career vets. I'm curious on the split. Is the split going to be mostly, like, if I had to guess, these individuals, the folks with the most experience, I think will use it a bit. Folks who are a little bit less experienced than this are going to be more averse to it because they're not as good as these individuals. And if they continue to use AI, they're not going to be, at least skill-wise, maybe production-wise they can be, and in the sense of what code they produce. And I think casual dabblers are going to be the ones that use it the most. The results amazed and surprised us, capturing an industry at fundamental odds with itself. And did we then upload that data to ChatGPT just to see what it might make of things? Yes, we did. So how much do you use AI? 3 in 4 coders have tried AI. That doesn't mean they use it. Of them, I had to make it bigger, the vast majority use it at least once a week. So 17% percentage of coders who use AI like at all times. Of course, they would say like at all times. 17% of 730 devs. Okay, I got to make it a little bit smaller now. It's all they talk about. You have to get with AI if you want to move up. Survey respondent. This is the way it's trending, right? If you do not use AI, but somebody who is just as skilled as you does use AI, they're going to blow you out the water. That doesn't mean vibe coders are going to blow senior devs out the water, mind you. Blow you out the water may be a little bit of an exaggeration. I do that at times, but if it can increase their efficiency or what have you by even 10%, that's kind of a lot. Who's who? So out of the 730 people who took the survey at every level of employment and experience, so from like what? Unemployed. So, they're entrepreneurs, which just means they're unemployed, or solo or freelancers, whatever. Okay, so early career, 0 to 10 years, mid-level, 10 to 20 years, experience, 20 plus years. Okay, and where these individuals in terms of years of experience fall are solo, freelance, small companies, which is less than 10 people, mid-sized companies, 10 to 100, and then large companies, 100 plus. Well, this is nice. Over half are going to be in mid-sized to large companies, and it looks like over half are going to be 20 plus years of experience. I like that. That's really who I want to hear from, just because I'm very curious of their take. But how does it make you feel? Okay, does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel bad? Does it make you not feel at all? We asked how each coder identifies, and the responses were almost evenly split. AI optimist, AI agnostic, AI pessimist. In what context? How does it make you feel? Okay, so this is not their prediction on AI, whereas AI optimist, they're like, oh yeah, AI is going to come in and do a lot, whereas AI pessimist is like, oh, AI won't do anything, and AI agnostic is basically like, oh, I don't know. But it's not like that. It's AI optimist as I like AI. Pessimist is I do not like AI, and agnostic is just indifferent. So does experience affect attitude? This is what we gotta see. So optimist, yeah, look, I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything like that, but this is kind of what I said. So the early career folks, there's going to be more as an optimist, although this is a lot closer than I thought. I thought it was going to be more like this, but inverse. Whereas mid-level, the amount of optimists are less than the other two categories, and then the experience are kind of like, it's equal. They're like, equally pessimistic, equally optimistic. It's kind of like, you know, those bell curve memes. Like this, but not exactly like this. Not it'll replace us, but the people in the mid-level seem to always be, I mean, more pessimistic, I guess. Because optimism over here is like, oh my gosh, look at all these things I can do. Over here, it's like, you have no idea how bad it is. Whereas over here, it's like, I can do some things. That is, I feel like, the thought process when it comes to AI, and this kind of signifies that. So 3 and 4 early career coders have a higher likelihood of being pro AI, and baby coders most of all. 3/4 of people who've been coding for less than a year call themselves AI optimists. Well, of course, because they are going to be the ones that are like, I don't know anything, but somehow I'm making some things work on the screen. This is amazing. 1 and 2, the most anti-AI group, it's not the grizzled late career vets, it's mid-career coders. Nearly half of them identify as AI pessimists. And while analyzing these results, ChatGPT, unprompted, said this group likely feels the greatest tension about AI's impact on job security. Interesting. I can see that. Or, I don't know. I'm not sure. That kind of is not exactly what I was thinking. I feel like this, if new coders want to get a job, this may be their viewpoint a little bit more. Not job security, but getting a job in the first place. Whereas for the mid-level, mid-career coders, it is more of that, it's not as good as people think it is, therefore I'm going to push it off and kind of disregard it because I can code just as good code as that, so why would I use that? Or I code better code than that, and I just spend all my time debugging that, so why use that? And not only that, they see the complexities that go into software engineering that AI isn't really touching. Maybe it can help a little bit here and there, but it's nowhere near dealing with architecture and infrastructure and distribution and things of that nature that it is with syntax. And like I said in last video, adding another layer of abstraction. I didn't make last few videos. I recorded this before like my last 3 videos, or else I would have brought some of those points up in this video, which is why I'm recording this after the fact before this one goes live, so I can add a little bit more context. But yeah, when they say ChatGPT offered an explanation, this group likely feels the greatest tension about AI's impact on job security, fully disagree. I think it's the opposite. I think they're just AI pessimists in the sense that they realize it's not as good as everybody else thinks it is because of all of those reasons I just said, but they also want to prove themselves. Whereas late career vets are not, the most anti-AI group because they're like, you know what, I was kind of tired of doing that stuff anyway. I've been doing it for the past 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, whatever. So I could just outsource some of this stuff to AI. I kind of like that. They realize that AI is not going to, take their jobs and take over software engineering. But I think that's why mid-career coders are, nearly half of them identify as AI pessimists, and they're the largest group, where they don't see like the middle ground like the late career vets. What about employment status? No big shocker here. Freelance coders seem to like AI more than full-time coders. I can see that 33% by which freelance coders are more likely than full-time coders to identify as AI optimists. And does your boss know? What do you mean, does your boss know? You're just using AI in secret. That's not a good idea. If you're writing code and submitting it to your code base and actually feeding your code base into the AI without your boss knowing, because of the potential, not even security risks within the application, because you get code review and things of that nature, but sensitive information. If it's client information, you're not allowed to share it with anybody. Is there a rule where you're not allowed to share it with AI? Or again, the HIPAA thing, or you're working for a federal government as a contractor? That's where things can get a little dicey. 1 and 2, more than half of employers per survey results pay for AI services. That's nice, as they should. If you're using a tool and a tool can help you be more productive or whatever, employers should pay for it. If you want to use Windsurf or Cursor, or before or during or now, you want to use JetBrains IDEs that cost money, employers should pay for it. 2 and 3, in those cases, more than 2/3 of employees use them. So 66%, so only half of employers pay for it. And for those half that pay for it, only 66% of the employees use it. 4% of full-time programmers who use AI without their employer's knowledge. Y'all need to not do that. And I'm not coming from the perspective of an employer either. I'm just saying, I'm looking out for you. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that because of your employer. I'm saying that because you're going to be the one that gets in trouble. Maybe, if they find out. But what if they never find out? Is a cat in the box still alive or not? I don't know. When a tree falls in the woods and nobody is there to hear it, does it make a sound? I don't know. But really, you shouldn't do that. Upper management does not understand what AI is and thinks it will solve untold problems. Junior devs rely on it too much without understanding their code first. Facts. That's the issue. You can use it, but in moderation. And when you use it, make sure whatever code you're adding, and whether that's you coding it or AI coding it, you're adding. It's in your branch that you are asking for somebody to code review. And if they ask you about it and you're like, oh, I don't know why I did it that way, or I don't know what it exactly it does, except for this little, like summary that the AI gave me and I just regurgitate. But when you ask even deeper questions and I'm not going to have any answer for you because I don't understand it, you can't do that. You got to understand the code that you are submitting, committing, pushing, merging, all of it, not just the code you are manually writing. What did this say again? Upper management does not understand what AI is and thinks it will solve untold problems. That is also an issue because they keep hearing a lot of AI replacing your jobs, 90 to 100% of code being written by AI, and think, oh wow, this is awesome. AI is going to do it. But in reality, it's programmers using the AI, tab, what have you, not one-to-one replacement of developers by AI. How do you actually interact with AI assistants? Browser interface, integration with standard IDE or text editor, and app. What is the app? This integration with standard IDE or text editor, hold on, does it? It doesn't explain it down there. So app, I could technically consider Cursor and Windsurf their own app, even though they are a standard IDE or text editor being VS Code. It's just a fork of VS Code with their own stuff integrated into it. Or is that considered an app and this is considered an extension, like using GitHub Copilot with VS Code? Is that what it means? And then obviously this is just like you heathens who copy and paste all of your code, irrelevant code, into ChatGPT or Claude and then ask it to output something. Don't do that. Well, I'm not going to say don't do it. There's a time and a place if you want to do something like that. But there are other ways that are easier that cost the same. That cost $15 a month, $20 a month. You see what I'm saying? I am curious about the app, but it is, oh my gosh, this is the heaviest over here. 69, not percent, but 69 out of the 730 use all three. I'm going to assume these are the freelancers. And then we have some overlap here, heavy overlap right here. I'd like to know the distinction between these two because I do use browser interface. This is for coding. Oh no, this is just how do you actually interact with AI assistants. Sorry, I misunderstood this. I love the browser interface for interaction and things. And then ChatGPT 4.0 or OpenAI just released their insane update to 4.0 that allows you to generate amazing images. Hold on, look at this one. Forest night in a forest at night. You can't tell me that's not like a really good image. Look at this. This is me just giving an image, actually an image of 4 of us, and saying single out the guy with the mustache and the long hair and put him in a forest at night. And this is what it was. Not just that though. I didn't just say that. I threw in the photo into ChatGPT 4.0 and used NeetCode's prompt of can you convert this image into an anime image that is stylistically inspired by Studio Ghibli, which I didn't know what that was until today. So yes, I do use browser interface mostly actually to interact with AI assistants, and then whatever the heck Windsurf or Cursor is. Maybe the app is like bolt.new and the lovable.dev and something like that. I'm not exactly sure. And does experience or employment affect these interaction preferences? Yes. And since it says and right here, I'm going to assume that they're talking about it's an add-on to this. I'm going to say, are the boomers, are they going to be the ones using the browser interface, or like the newbies going to be using the browser interface? I think 1 in 3. I don't know, actually. The more experienced you are, the more you go beyond browser interfaces and apps. Okay, nearly 1 in 3 veteran coders, 20 plus years, integrate AI tools directly into their coding environments. 1 in 3 is the majority? That's interesting. So, okay. So that means 1 in 3 of the folks that have 10 to 20 years experience, or 0 to 10 years experience, less than 1 in 3 of those individuals go beyond browser interfaces. Oh my goodness. I mean, I understand for AI assistants, but they're surveying software developers. You should have something that integrates into your IDE just so it's seamless, just so it has full context of your code base. And when your code base is large, it's not going to work as well as you think. It's not going to have that full context, but it can still analyze the files around it, as opposed to you copy and pasting all of those files into Claude. How has AI changed your job? Time, faster, new, less. What am I looking at here? Frequency of words and write-in responses. Oh, so they just pulled out. So, okay. So AI has changed your job by time, presumably making things faster. New? Less, I write less code, I search less on Google, writing less code, speed, solution. This is kind of weird, I ain't gonna lie. Maybe this is supposed to pop something up, but I'm on archive.ph. I guess I could sign up with just my email and it's free, but what's AI bad at? It's wrong a lot of the time. Maybe it takes a long time to code. Answers, context. Yeah, context. That's because all of you are using browser stuff instead of actually having things integrated. It's not the best at context, but it's a lot better. No, writing, understanding. Solutions. It's bad at solutions. Will AI fully eat programming jobs one day? No. Almost every coder we surveyed had strong opinions on the matter. Here's ChatGPT's summary of the responses with its bold face emphasis preserved. So why am I going to read okay, it's not that long. I'll read it. The coders have spoken, and they're not packing up their keyboards just yet. While a small, hold on, let me try to predict this. ChatGPT is going to be like, no, we're not going to take your job. Everything's going to be okay. It'll just help you do your job, because that's what it always says. While a small but vocal group insists AI will devour programming jobs in time, most dismiss full automation as a pipe dream. I do too. Full automation as a pipe dream, yes. The Doom prophets warn that corporate bosses will slash payrolls the moment AI looks capable. I assume this, I haven't confirmed, I've heard this has kind of already happened with some of the hype. And I use this example all the time, that if you can work 25% faster, a team of 4 can now do what used to take a team of 5. So now you don't need 5 devs to get the same work done as 4 devs. So either you can still hire the 5 devs with your existing budget, or you could only have 4 devs and get the same amount of work done. Just depends on the goals of the company, really. Leaving human engineers debugging their own obsolescence. Yeah, so you're either debugging your own stuff or you're debugging AI stuff. Either way, you're debugging. The skeptics scoff, arguing AI is more like a hyper-efficient intern, useful but clueless, that can't handle context, edge cases, or real problem solving. See, that's the thing. Maybe now, but you have to assume with the billions of dollars being dumped into artificial intelligence that it is going to get better than just a useful intern and a clueless intern. Not that it's going to replace everybody, but it's going to get better than it is today, in theory. The realists see AI as a force multiplier, not a job killer. Exactly. Force multiplier. You can do 2x the work. That's 1 dev doing 2. I know I'm repeating myself, but I feel like I have to. I feel like everybody's either all or nothing, or they just don't understand when people say like AI will write 90% of code. No, yeah, with a tab. If you write 1 line of code and you can tab 9 lines of code, then you wrote 10%, it wrote 90%, you see? Automating repetitive coding, but leaving the creativity, architecture, and debugging to humans. I wish it would just take the debugging first and foremost, and then leave the creativity and architecture to humans. If AI does each programming, one put it, I'll just switch to debugging AI. Wait, nobody actually said this. ChatGPT, bless it, made several mistakes throughout this process. Yeah, but this is not one of the mistakes it made. Maybe all of these that you say here are the mistakes, but this is not one of the mistakes. If you get into app security right now, or you're just a really good dev and you become some sort of consultant or auditor, and you come in and audit code bases in the next 2, 3, 5 years from all of this vibe coding, you're going to make a whole lot of money. The real verdict, AI isn't coming for your job, but it is changing it. Adapt or get left behind. I agree with this right here. I think I said it earlier in this video, but you have to adapt. I kind of want to make a whole video about this, just kind of to really share my thoughts about it. But yeah, I did say this earlier in this video. If a senior dev uses AI to be more efficient than another senior dev who resists using AI, like, who are you going to hire? Somebody that can do 2 to 3 times the amount of work because they use AI, or somebody who refuses to use AI? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I'm not saying those people will be completely out of a job, but they'll be at a disadvantage. And how do I use AI? Something like this. You can actually see some recommendation right there, because I haven't added metrics for iterative version, or at least I have, but I called it somewhere else. So if I want to tab right here, and then down here it says tab to jump, I just tab again, and then it's going to remove this iterative benchmark down here. Then I'm going to tab jump again, and I have to add in my factorial iterative. That is exactly what I want. I thought I was going to have to go line by line there, but yeah, that's perfect. So that's kind of how I do it. And I do have a full how I code with AI video coming up, where I go into everything from all of this a little bit more in depth to the rules that I add, and then why I don't really like requirements and other things that I like and don't do, and MCPs, LLMs.txt, things of that nature. That'll be coming very soon. I do also utilize some of the conversations. You can see I've had about 20 conversations. So like reviewing factorial metrics integration right here. All I did was, because I had moved factorial metrics, so I was like, is it pointing where this is, where that's called? So, you know, right here, I want to make sure that, okay, we go back a directory and we are, you know, accessing, or what are we outputting to factorial metrics? Yeah, I was confused there. That was the C++ file. Here is the JSON path file. This is the Go file. So yeah, go back a directory, and then that's where you're going to find the JSON file. And it did make some changes. You can see, we can kind of see, added format here, changed some code down here to update the bar chart with metrics for term dash in order to display some metrics that we got from using recursion versus iteration. Just a little project that I'm working on, maybe for a video, still trying to figure that out. And I just made a few adjustments to make sure that, you know, it's good, and it removes some, I guess, unused code or changed it up, as you can see. Yeah, so I'll use both. And very rarely am I going to use ChatGPT or something. However, I will. If I have a crazy prompt, I'll just spew everything that I have over into ChatGPT. And I try to keep it like task level, nothing super big, but I want to, you know, put as much descriptions into that task level prompt as I can. So I'll have ChatGPT kind of actually, you know, mess with that prompt, and then I'll take the prompt from ChatGPT and put it into Windsurf right here. So I'm getting the prompt from AI and putting the prompt into AI just from my jumbled mess of a brain, and I like to use it that way too. So that's how software engineers use artificial intelligence in coding.